you said space was really what your most pressing need was. Was there any real estate owned by either company, or their leases you're inheriting that are favorable? Or are you on the cusp of, nope, we're going to have to be doing this in a year on new leases?
Oh, we're in great shape in both
Beautiful.
places. They were both
Congratulations.
leased places. Obviously our legal team had to connect with the landlord's legal team and work that out. But we are firmly entrenched in Syracuse for 10 years.
Wow.
And in Buffalo, really as long as we need to be as well. So, and we'd like to have, obviously there's some inefficiency to having three locations, but because of the markets and because of the way New York State is kind of divvied up, it makes sense for us to be physically in those places.
Yeah.
And we've already seen a level of support for our local clients, even though our client base is realistically global. But for the clients that do reside in these markets, we've found that they really kind of welcome the fact that now they have local support, in these three cities in the upstate New York.
The Apogee
Yeah.
Orange Men. Yep. I can, at least for the next 10 years. That's great. That's great news.
Mark, I'm curious, you've already mentioned Francine's been critical, even the three owners are still on board with exhibits and more.
Mhm.
And you've mentioned your attorney several times and your CPA. I'm curious, who are the other pieces in the puzzle that have allowed this transition to happen? Not just the transaction, but the transition and uh, the entire process of what you're going through. I know there's people behind the scenes because you obviously can't do it by yourself.
Nope.
Who else is helping, and what are the critical parts that help there?
Obviously, my team here, the leadership team here, is absolutely phenomenal. They have, and one of those is one of our senior project managers, who I think I mentioned before, Christiana Mescu. She had worked in that organization previously, and she's also been with. She went through the Gilsper days and the buyout with them, and a PE buyout with Gallo, and she had a financial position in some of those corporations and was kind of keen to how all that stuff worked. And so she was a valuable, just sounding board, talking about, not really the specifics of the deal, but just she'd been through three buyouts.
Yeah.
So just from an employee standpoint, it was valuable to have her opinion. And then obviously Ethan Taylor, who's running operations, he's been involved in this, learning, that part of the structure of the deal. And my VP of finance, Jennifer Martineau, probably did most of the heavy lifting here, getting everybody on board. And I just showed up and told her I bought a company here. Go help me figure out how to get these folks on board. Obviously, my CPA firm, we have a great relationship with them, doing the valuation and the modeling, because we did explore bank lending as part of this. So we had to obviously do that. We had to do projections, and we went through that exercise. And because I had to do a stock deal in my own corporation, I also had to do a valuation of my own organization. So we went through that exercise,
Wow.
which not everybody does every day.
Yeah.
So it was actually a pretty intense exercise with the accounting firm, and the obviously the lawyers do their lawyer thing, and that helped get that done too. But I couldn't say enough about like the modeling and the valuation process, to arrive at not only value your own entity, but post sale, what that looks like, and then your projections and what you're looking at from from an enterprise value in the future. We did all of that exercise, so that was actually a really educational exercise for me. Even if this deal had not gone through, it was important for us to understand how that
So great,
mechanism worked.
great legal, accounting, CPA, your CPA firm.
Yep.
It does not sound like a business broker was in the mix.
Nope.
So, considerable savings there. But thirdly, a great transition team that you had that was backstopping you. And normally you'd say bank. And even though you went through the exercise, I imagine the bank is still in second chair because they're advising you on the health of your own company, or making sure you're available with, was it lines of credit or what other tools you might need. So
Sure. I mean, almost everybody runs an operating line, so
Yeah.
we did go through that exercise with the bank, and with it, we have a great banking relationship, and they're on board with that. just the other factors of, as I said earlier, the investment in infrastructure that might be required, to get, kind of the playing field leveled out a little bit, with computer IT infrastructure, um, things like that. Those are all important things to really, really vet, I think, again, along with the team, that were factors, that were part of the process.
So they're no longer going to be presenting with sock puppets and dioramas. You're going to make
No.
sure they've got the technology tool set.
Yeah, we're using
Excellent.
Elmer's glue and popsicle sticks instead.
Well, okay. So there it is.